That's the sound of Casey and the Sunshine Band and a track called Give It Up. It was requested by Tim, and it was requested on our WhatsApp line, and that number is 072-447-8044. It is the same number that you can use this afternoon when we speak to a lady whose name is Karen. I have qualified that. And Karen is a lady who runs a puppy school. And we're going to be speaking to her about it. Now, hopefully, if everything is well, you're going to be hearing Karen, a great Kilfoil, speak right now. Hello, Karen.
Hi, Richard and everybody.
There we go. Okay, we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, of course we can hear you. Can hear you loud and clear. Okay, so you're here in Noordhoek, just across the road from us, really, aren't you? And you have an interesting concept, and you've also been affected by this COVID-19 lockdown because you have a puppy school and a puppy preschool. Is that what it's called? Puppy preschool?
Yeah.
So it's like before the puppy goes to school?
Yeah, it's the very basics of puppy training. So when they're really tiny.
So you've basically got a school that is open?
Not at the moment.
Oh, so your school is also closed. All right, because all the other schools are in a state of chaos at the moment. But this is not about those schools. This is about puppy schools.
Yeah. So our school is opening on the 21st of June.
Mm-hmm.
But with lots of rules and regulations and social distancing and
all right,
and all that stuff. So we will be opening, but we have online classes at the moment.
Yeah, my mind is racing about puppies and social distancing, but we're not going to go down that road. All right, just tell us the backstory first, quickly, Karen.
Okay, so I have a puppy preschool in Sun Valley, actually. It's about a block away from your studio. We've been running classes here for years. I don't know how many. I've been doing classes for about 20 years, but not all here. And why we do puppy classes is to prevent a lot of problems. So it's like educating a child. You kind of need to start when they're very small, with socializing them and the very basics of education. And it's a lot about educating the owners, really. A lot of people have never had a puppy, or they've forgotten what it's like to have a puppy, and so we teach them how to what to do and all the different things that puppies do. And we basically teach abnormal behavior to puppies, because it's actually normal to dig, chew, bite, run away, nip, attack other dogs. Those are normal behaviors. So you actually have to teach a puppy to be abnormal. And that takes a lot of effort, and people forget that and or don't know that. So it's a lot about teaching the owners, and we also have a lot of fun. And we learn about how to deal with toilet training and separation training and crate training, and what sort of toys to give them, and grooming, how to groom them, and all that kind of stuff. So it's quite hard to do it with social distancing. You're right.
Well, look, you've had to adapt your business. You've been doing this online. How have you done that? How have you managed to teach puppy preschool online?
So online, obviously, they can't socialize with each other because, but they couldn't anyway during a hard lockdown. When it was opened up so we could go for walks, then puppies were starting to meet other dogs, which was great, but people had to know what to do, how to approach the whole thing. If you have two dogs on a lead, sometimes that's a problem. So, and then we could do quite a lot of stuff actually online, teaching them basic training, like how to sit and how to walk on a lead. You can actually do that with showing them a little video, and then when they go for their walk, they
are you showing the dog the video? Are you showing the dog the video of the owner here? I mean,
no, the owner. So what we did it like this Zoom lesson, at least this Zoom session, but I had like 3 or 4 puppies with their owners in the class, and we could all see each other, and they could see me, and I was demonstrating I demonstrated on my dog, and I've got an assistant, Angie Skitter, who's also a behaviorist and a puppy trainer. And she, when my dogs weren't cooperating, then her dog would be the dummy. So we also pre-recorded little sections. So things like walking on a lead, Angie would pre-record that and we'd play that during the session. So we actually managed to do quite a lot, amazingly. But there are certain things you can't do, like getting them used to other puppies and playing. And so all of that's going to have to happen after lockdown.
All right, let me understand this, Corinne. This is now the term preschool, puppy preschool. I mean, they go on to big dog training after this. Am I right? So this is basically to deal with the things that you tell me are natural behavior for puppies, which you want to sort of train them out of. And then once you've gone through this, then people can take a dog to a sort of adult dog kind of training school. Am I right?
Yeah. Yeah. So the adult dog training schools are also closed because of lockdown. So yeah, so we're all closed. So there's some of them will also be opening this month. So the puppies that have missed out on the puppy training, that's a bit of a problem because now they're not socialized. So they may need individual classes or sort of, I don't know, we're going to have to work out some way of getting them socialized before they start dog training classes. And I don't do the older dog training classes, but I've spoken to some trainers and they're worried because now they're going to have a whole lot of puppies that have not been socialized. So, so that is a problem.
What's the sort of window of opportunity for age-wise for a puppy before you're not going to be able to preschool it?
Yeah, so the window is between 9 weeks and 16 weeks is when they start. So 16 weeks is 4 months. So that's when they should start puppy preschool. If they miss that 16-week window, then they basically need to go to the next stage of dog training, which is still puppy class, but it's a different way of managing it. It's like the difference between a preschooler and a grade 1 or a grade 3 child. So, you know, it's just slightly different way of dealing with, especially with the socializing. You can't just let them off a lead and let them play so easily when they're a bit older.
Yeah.
Whereas when they're 9 to 16 weeks, you kind of can, bit of supervision obviously, but you kind of can let them off the lead, let them play nicely, and they generally get on very well. But yeah, that is a very short window, and quite a few puppies have missed that.
Okay, now I see in the material that I have on your business that it is a roll-on, roll-off system. Hello. Oh, that's your little toy. We got one of those.
I do have real dogs, but they're not very cooperative today. So
yeah, no, I'm sure they're not. Okay, so people who watch the YouTube video of this will see the little fluffy dog. We've also got one of those. His name is Oscar. Remember, there was a lady. Okay. There we go. We've got an Oscar here, and if you remember, I forget her name now. It'll come to me. She had that dog that she was traveling around the world with, Oscar. She went to.
I do remember.
Yeah, and she actually drove over her own dog. It was very sad. We all went to the funeral here at the SPCA. But so we've got an Oscar in the studio. So next time you come to the studio, we'll introduce you to Oscar. All right. Now, I was going to ask you a question here about the roll-on, roll-off system. What is that?
Okay, so it's a 6-week course. So there's 6 lessons in a row. So ideally, people should start at lesson 1 and end at lesson 6, and then they get a certificate and they get a rosette for their puppy to say they finished the course. But if somebody phones me and I'm about to do the 3rd or 4th lesson, I often just say to them, you can just join in. And then what they can do is they can, as long as they can just fill in till the end of that course and then start the next course. So, and then they can do the whole of the next course if they want to as well. So it's quite flexible, because otherwise what happens is people, if they can't get in straight away, they often then they'll go somewhere else, or they'll forget, and then 2 months later they phone me and, oh, we want to come to class now, And then I say, well, actually, your puppy's too old.
Mm.
So it's quite important that they join as soon as they can. At the moment, with the online classes, it's been just too chaotic to try and get people on and off, let people go on and off. So I haven't allowed that. But when we have the real classes, then it's roll on, roll off system. So it's quite flexible. And if you miss a class, you just come the next week. So, you know, it allows for people to go away, or if they're sick or something like that.
Okay, so the things that you actually focus on are things like digging and chewing. Give us a list of the behaviors that we're talking about that you try and change in these puppies.
Okay, so I'm a behaviorist. So for many years, I did consultations with people with dog problems and cats, actually, with problems like aggression and digging and all sorts of things. So, and I found that right from the beginning, that puppy classes actually prevented so many of those problems, especially problems involving other dogs. So where you got aggression, or you got a dog that was scared of other dogs or something, if they'd had puppy classes, they wouldn't have been in that situation. And also the owners would have known how to handle it maybe a bit better. So, so the whole thing about puppy classes is to try and prevent all those problems. And some of them are things like separation anxiety, which is where dogs get really stressed out when their owners leave. And that's going to be a problem after lockdown, because so many dogs and puppies have been with their owners. So teaching your puppy to be away from you, and that you can do very gradually and nicely without making it too stressful. Crate training is quite a useful thing to teach them. So they're used to going into a crate or a kennel of some sort. So if you need to travel with them or whatever, they're used to being in a confined space. Digging, chewing, all those things, all puppies do that. But the thing is to try and get them to grow out of it as quick as possible. So you give them other things to do. Give them the toys that they're allowed to chew, things that they're allowed to do. You can even give them a digging patch. You know, we give people lots of ideas of how to manage those kind of problems. And some dogs dig more and some chew more, you know, and some are impossible to house train. So, well, when I say impossible, it's never impossible, but some of them just take a lot longer and need much more patience. So, you know, there's lots of ways that we can help people to cope with all those issues. Yeah, so those are the kind of things that people worry about. And it's quite nice for the owners also to talk to other owners and see, okay, well, my puppy chewed up the cell phone the other day, but his puppy chewed up the TV remote. So, you know, it's not completely abnormal. This is a normal thing.
Okay. I'm going to ask you now about something that I've found to be quite contentious I've had a lot of dogs, and I've seen people who have had dogs. A puppy.
There's dog.
A puppy wets the carpet. The owner grabs his puppy by the back of the neck and rubs his nose in the urine or whatever the mess is, and like reprimands and thinks that's going to solve the problem. Now, I need to, for my own understanding, and I'm sure many other people have seen this behavior by humans, does that work?
Seriously, I don't think it works. I think what it does is, people say it works because the dog learns, despite that they learn somehow not to do the wrong thing. The problem with that kind of way of doing things is you can, there goes my dog, that you can set up a whole fear thing going so that your dog's scared of you. So whenever it does a wee or a poo, and then it sees you and it gets scared and then it runs away, and then you set up a whole cycle of fear. It can also start dogs eating their own poo because they think that's what the owner wants them to do. So it doesn't work, and it can set up a whole lot of other problems. And it's just so much nicer. I mean, a lot of people think they have to do that that's what they should be doing, and they hate doing it. But you don't have to do that. You can actually never, ever punish your dog and still have a perfectly well-trained dog. You can use only positive reinforcement and treats and reward them and praise them and get a perfectly well-behaved dog without ever having to shout at them or smack them at all. And so many people are relieved to find that out, actually, because a lot of people think that you have to do that, and you actually shouldn't. You want to develop a trusting relationship with your dog.
Very, very interesting. They're very complex animals. Now, I was looking at another thing here. Your cost for the course is 600 Rand for 6 lessons. Is that right?
Yeah.
But,
so some people pay the full amount up front, and some people pay 100 Rand per lesson by cash or by EFT. And so it's quite flexible. And then if you decide that you want to do a couple of extra lessons, you can actually do extra ones for free if you want to. But usually by the end of 6 lessons, people have had enough and their puppies are ready to move on to the older classes.
The other nice thing that I see here is that you have a half price deal for people who've adopted puppies.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
So I'm a huge fan of adopting dogs that need homes. I've had rescue dogs all my life. Yeah, and I think I like to reward people for doing that. So that's why I do that. I don't give a discount for people who have 2 puppies because I don't think that's a good idea. So you'll see that if you have 2 puppies, you're still going to be paying 1,200 Rand. But yeah, so I don't think it's a good idea to adopt 2 puppies or have 2 puppies at once. But I do think it's great to rescue a dog if you can, or a puppy if you can. So that's why I do that.
Well, that's very, very nice. Okay, so business at the moment, are you still doing the online sort of lessons?
Yeah, so I've got the online class goes on until the 14th, and then on the 21st I start with a strange kind of socially distanced class. It's going to be very odd, but we'll make a plan. Just to mention my sponsors, because I think they'll be very pleased if I do. Hill's Pet Nutrition sponsors our classes, and they provide courses and seminars and for us, for puppy trainers. And they also give us equipment like jumps and all sorts of things for the puppies, and clothing and vouchers and prizes and all sorts of things. So they really are great. And they also sponsor a lot of charity organizations like Tears. So I think Hills needs a bit of a...
Yeah, look, they certainly do. They certainly do, and we don't have a problem. You're giving them a shout out here. They're doing good things for animals, particularly ones who are adopted. I don't have a problem with that. So okay, so how do people get hold of you? Okay, so let me go back one. You are opening on the 21st. You're going to be operating. Where do you operate? I know you mentioned it earlier, but just to refresh my memory, you operate where?
It's Sun Valley, so it's Bark Crescent. It's easy to remember, but it's BARQUE, not barking dog. Bark Crescent, Sun Valley, and it's at my house actually. So it's in our garden, and it's enclosed and very safe. And we usually use the park for some of the exercises, but with social, with the lockdown, we were not allowed to use the park. So. But that's not a problem because we can do everything in our garden. Yeah, so that's where we do it. Sunday mornings at 9 o'clock. So it's early on a Sunday morning. And yeah, then by 10 o'clock, your puppy's exhausted and you can all sleep the rest of the day. Okay. That's the plan.
All right. I see that I'm being notified that messages are coming through on our WhatsApp here, and I do apologize, Karen, because I'm not seeing the messages. The messages aren't showing up on the WhatsApp here, but I'm getting notification that they're coming through. So I do apologize. But for any of these people who have had questions that we have been unable to address because of the WhatsApp, how can they get hold of you to ask you those questions?
Okay, so they can either go to the Facebook page, which is Puppy Preschool, and all the details are there, or they can go to the website, which is www.animalbusinessnetwork.co.za. And it's my website, and I do it's like a directory, but on there's a page about puppy preschool. And then I'm also on WhatsApp or SMS or phone on 084 818 5273. And you can contact me and book in if you're keen to come.
All right. All of a sudden, the WhatsApp has woken up and must have felt my anger. Hi, unique question for the guest. With everybody working from home for more than 2 months, any advice on how to go back to work without creating anxiety for the puppies?
Yeah, so I would start before, if you can, start before you go back to work, doing some separation training. In other words, just putting your dog in another room or outside for a couple of minutes, give them a toy or something, or when they're eating, close the door between you and them when they're eating. Just try and give them 10 minutes, whatever, at a time, and then gradually build that up if you can over the next few days, or work out how many days you've got before you go back to work. So it's a gradual thing, and the more gradual, the better. And then they'll be, by the time you go back to work, they should be fine.
There we go. I hope that answers the question. And I must thank you for making yourself available this afternoon. We kind of run out of time, but it's a very important topic. And hopefully when you fire up on the 21st, people are going to come along and support you. I think you're doing a good job. I think it's a wonderful concept. Let's see if we can't help you along the way. The reason that we're doing these interviews, folks, just so that you understand, Karen is a lady who has a little business in the Valley. She's a lady whose business has been terribly affected by the lockdown. Our mission here at Zone Radio has been, since the lockdown started, to introduce you to these businesses and try and give them a leg up. So what I'm asking you is, if you've got a puppy that you feel needs to be trained, go and talk to this lady. That's what we're doing these discussions for, as well as educating you on what puppy training is all about. So please, we want to get a kickstart for the businesses. You're going to be hearing over the next couple of weeks as we speak to different businesses about how they are going and how they've been coping and how they are going to rebuild. And rebuilding is what we want to help with. And that's why we're doing these discussions with these businesses in the Valley. And Karen and her partner, Angie, are a business just like that. They've been knocked backwards by COVID-19. And we can help.
Yeah, well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks very much, Richard, and Zone Radio. And I'm a huge fan, and I love that song you played earlier. I remember playing that on a guitar at school. So
what song did I play earlier? What song did I play earlier? I played like 15 songs.
Heart of Gold.
We go. That was requested. That was requested by Devin. All right, Karen, I'm going to play another song that you're going to enjoy as well. It's by Cat Stevens. It's called I Love My Dog. We're going to play with that. And thank you very much. I hope that you go from strength to strength. If there's anything we can do to assist, please push our button and we will see how we can help. And good luck going forward.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time. Bye-bye.